Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, Nietzsche Nostalgia here, and welcome to my review of Fable Anniversary. Before I get into the review, I just want to start off with a little bit of a history on how I got into Fable. And how this happened was, man, it was a while ago this came out. It's crazy how time gets away from you, but my cousin and I had actually gone to a video store. One of those ancient places where people used to go to actually rent games and movies. And I decided to rent the game. And I lived up north from where he was, so I had about 4 days with the game before I came back down to his house and returned it. So what I did is I played through it as much as I possibly could. I wanted to experience the game as much as I could with my limited time with it. So I went through and I made a good character, and then I made an evil character, and then I made sort of a good character, then sort of an evil character, and I just replayed it a bunch of times. And you know, the game was pretty short when it initially came out. This was before the Lost Chapters expanded upon it. So I went through it a lot, and I did enjoy it very much. At the time, I felt like it was a very good game. I still feel like it's a good game, although I don't think it holds up as well as it did back then. But there was always something about it that I liked. The regions and, you know, the character models, the music. It's a very nostalgic title for me, the first Fable. And many of you know my cousin did pass away prematurely at a very young age from cancer. So Fable is one of those games where as soon as I fire it up, I immediately have memories of my cousin. So there's that attachment there as well. But that's how I got into the game. And I remember the Lost Chapters coming out, and I hadn't played it until after he passed away. So I picked that up for the original Xbox. I got the Last Chapters edition of the game, and I played through it, and it offered, you know, 2, 3 or more hours of extended gameplay. It offered new areas to explore, and it just felt great. It was good to get back in the game. I had that nostalgic attachment to it, you know, because of, as I had stated before, with my cousin, so that was there, and it was a very powerful feeling. Going forward into Fable 2, I felt like that game was pretty good, but I felt like it could have been better. I like that they let you go back and see the guild, and you got to go back to Bowerstone, or not Bowerstone, Oakvale. Bowerstone was in the game, I think, but it was like completely different. So things had changed, and I didn't like the fact that they changed things up too much. I always liked that nostalgic feeling you got. Like in Resident Evil 3, when you went back to the Raccoon Police Department, I always enjoyed that aspect of the game. And 3 I did not like at all. It's the Sanctuary thing got on my nerves. In order to do anything, you had to go to the Sanctuary. If you wanted to scratch your ass, you had to go to the Sanctuary. Instead of just popping open the menu and changing your weapons, you had to go to the Sanctuary. You know, and I know they tried to add co-op in 2 and 3, and it just, I tried to play it with Mrs. Nostalgia, and we just didn't have much fun with it. Fable, the original Fable, is definitely my favorite. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and jump into this review and get into the game. Let's get to the meat and potatoes of this here. What do I think of this game? How would I rate it? I don't like to give scores. I don't like to say, oh, this is a 1 or a 10 or anything like that, because I just don't, I don't like that system. I believe that it's flawed. I am going to tell you guys what I think of the game without a scoring system. Personally, the graphics are it's okay. It is a bit of an upgrade, but maybe it's just me. Maybe I've got nostalgia goggles on. But I really enjoyed the way the original looked. It seemed more colorful. This seems just a little bit more drab. Like it doesn't seem like there's as much color. The sky definitely looks nice. Textures are rather bland. The lighting is okay, but then again, I always remember the lighting being pretty decent. I like the effect with the shadows coming off of him there. It's pretty cool, but as you can see in the background here, the textures back there are just pretty basic. Textures, all in all, are quite basic. I always liked the way the clothing and the armor looked in the Fable games.
Try to get your combat multiplied even
I've
higher.
always liked just the way the characters are. It's always been a very Fable thing. I don't know how to explain it. You can definitely tell Fable just by looking at the character models and the way they look. In terms of gameplay, this is dated gameplay. You know, this is something that was pretty decent back in the day, but now the combat is very basic. Everything is just quite basic, and Fable was always basic. But I think that's more of a problem today than it was back then, because we have so many different games now that are way more in depth. So it's definitely showing its age in that respect. But the camera still feels clunky. That does not translate well. All in all, I can't recommend that you pick this up. If I had to say pick one of them up, just get the Lost Chapters. It's $10, I believe, right now on Steam. This is on sale too, but I feel maybe once again, maybe this is just nostalgia. I feel the Lost Chapters is better. I feel that it looks better. It just, you know, I got that nostalgic attachment to it. Fable 1 has always been my favorite out of all of the Fables. Didn't really care too much for 3 at all. It was okay. Fable 2 I liked, but it's always been a very basic game. I think the game itself as a series needs to evolve. Fable Legends looks pretty cool, but I don't know, the whole multiplayer thing, I'm not sure how that's going to pan out. It's something that I'm interested in. But to get back onto this game, you know, I just don't feel that it's worth a purchase. If you can get it on sale, fine. But I believe this was retailing for $40, $50. I think maybe 40. Now I think it's 30. If you don't catch it on sale, it is absolutely not worth that price, guys. Do not recommend buying this. And that's pretty sad for me because I always loved the original Fable. But just get the Lost Chapters. You're really not missing anything here. And I feel like they missed the opportunity to expand upon the story. They really dropped the ball there because they could have done with like what they did with the Lost Chapters and add an extra 2 or 3 hours worth of content, more demon doors, more armor and things for you to get and weapons without bullshit microtransaction DLC. I haven't even checked the DLC, but I've been told that all it is weapons and armor. That, you know, it's just a fucking cash grab, man. You know, this game is living proof of how games are starting to go down that, well, how they have been going down that microtransaction bullshit route for so long. If you take a look at when this game came out, that shit didn't exist. You know, when the Lost Chapters came out, it was worth purchasing because it added to the experience. It added more time to the game. It gave you, I believe, 2 new regions to explore. It gave you a new boss, a new ending. It gave you a bunch of shit. This doesn't give you anything. It's just, it looks different. So, I'm going to have to say go ahead and give this one a pass, guys. Hopefully the Fable series can get back on track because I do have a special spot in my heart for Fable. Especially the music. I absolutely love the music. This song right here was always one of my favorites in all of gaming history. I remember listening to it, just sitting in the main menu and listening to this song. So it is, it's rather sad, but this is a very lazy remaster, whatever you want to call it, cash grab. Do not recommend it. If you guys like this video, I ask that you please rate it up so that others can see it. If you like my channel and you're new here, I ask that you please subscribe. I thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.